What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about sOfI. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, break it down on what really moved and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, sOfI did close 2.77% in the green. So this is a very unique circumstance that Powell didn't cause significant damage to the broader market. Rather, he was very upbeat, optimistic, and it kind of showed the importance once again of this upcoming Friday, the unemployment numbers. But in general, I think Powell reassured the broader market. There was rather low volume though for sOfI today, 39.8 million for that, 58.5 is the average, and so it's not something to be concerned over. You're still seeing a fair share of big buying happening, just the overall frequency isn't necessarily there. Again, it's something to kind of take note of. Most likely a lot of entities are just waiting on the sidelines to buy more sOfI and other stocks until unemployment numbers do come out. But straight out the gate, a couple big transactions, so 1.4 million, 7.4, even after hours there was a 23.5, so a lot of big transactions. So yeah, pretty good stuff in that regard. There was actual PR that did come out today, and it was this right here. So sOfI expands access to alts through new partnership with Templum. So in general, if you are a sOfI member, you can now buy one of 3 new privately market funds. So for instance, SpaceX and a couple others. Yeah, I think this is a very unique circumstance that sOfI is able to really give its members, and honestly, it's good. Anthony, I believe, even did tweet about this as well. So sOfI is really making strides to stand out, and this is something that does not happen necessarily with the big brick and mortar banks. So sOfI once again is really setting themselves apart. Aside from that though, you had this that was posted by sOfI News. So it looks like there's just some wire transfer improvements coming down the pipeline. So generally always a good thing. I don't actually have sOfI, so I'm not really familiar with this and the essential, I guess, improvements, but clearly it's good enough for a post and it's getting a lot of attention. So yeah, generally I think this is something that needs to be brought up. Aside from that, it's just been piggybacking off the broader market. My apologies on the lack of videos, sOfI videos. I did decide to do a last minute trip, so this is why you see all the internet fairly bad and why you don't see my face and all that fun stuff. But I'll be back to the regular scheduled broadcasting momentarily. But for today, shorts did return 435,000 shares. 13.31% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 141.74 million shares. So yeah, shorts are still returning. Very smart of them, but generally there's still 141 million shares that is out there that they like punishment. But it did pop back up today. So cost to borrow minimum is negative, so negative 0.07%. So there is that broker still being very stubborn, trying to drum up some business, not really working out all that well in their favor. But moving over to options, 28 million in calls, 4.35 million in puts. So even though there wasn't that much volume for common stock, a lot of money still getting into sOfI through options. 46% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish, and of the call options that were purchased, there is now a consensus for it to be above roughly that 1850 by next week, and more so around 1750 for this week. So a lot more optimism is on the table. And prior to today, there was some optimism for it to be between that 1750 and 18, so it is starting to creep back up. And there is a lot of big transactions as well, just randomly throughout the $16 range. So I think 16 might be the base, or possibly, I guess, 15 something and change. So I'll go over the support and resistance points in a second. But quickly going over here, yesterday it kind of had some volatility, as you can kind of see right here, but with today's nice push higher, it was able to stay above the ALMA, above the super trend, all the key moving averages that I like to look at. And I know it sounds weird, but because of this kind of pullback that did happen over the last trading days, it actually reset the technicals. So broader market is still very overbought, but in sOfI's case, it's a little bit less damaging. Of course, if unemployment numbers come out on Friday a little bit worse for wear, not to say that SoFi is going to be exempt and not go down, but I think this might lessen the blow if necessary. So something to kind of keep in mind. And one new analyst rating did come out. I believe, since I haven't done any videos, I didn't really bring it up, but just in case you are out of the loop, there was one that was done 8 days ago, $19 Jeffries John, who has a 60% success rating, so buy rating. You also had one, I think it shows yesterday, but maybe that's the most updated one, $16 JP Morgan Reginald, who has a 55% success rating. So more and more SoFi competitors are seeing a lot more upside. So still though, as a consensus, $11.38 is that price target, and that does represent a 30% downside. Still yet to hear from these two stooges. So two of the three amigos still haven't given ratings. So Compass Point and Wedbush. So yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they are just going to completely just drop out of the race and not kind of do anything or something like that. So as far as right now though, with it at 1632, it is trading between these 2 points, so this R1 and the pivot. So 1455 is going to be a strong support, then 1683 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Tomorrow we just have unemployment, or sorry, the initial jobless claims, and then on Friday the unemployment, the actual sentiment as well. So a lot of big data coming out in the next couple of days, which in reality could really give it justified reason to propel it above this R1, which would be a new 52-week high for SoFi, and maybe even touch this R2. Options is clearly signaling for it to be between this R3 and this R2. So nonetheless, I think there is a lot more upside coming for SoFi, and in reality, I know technically looking at the options is just more of a sentiment. It doesn't actually move the stock price. It actually has been very, very accurate, a good representation of where big money truly does see SoFi going. And as far as right now, SoFi big money is seeing it for 1850. So yeah, what's your viewpoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, I did launch a Patreon roughly around 3 weeks ago, and I've been giving buy signal stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers. And even though it was just 3 weeks ago, I did get the first double on a stock, and that was SoundHound. And many cryptos have already exceeded that 1x easily. So yeah, definitely pop over to there. Link in the description below and also the comments to take a look at a lot of the buy signals. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.